The McDermotts next door were always an enigma. They moved in when I was a child, a silent couple with eyes that seemed to hold ancient secrets. They kept to themselves, their house shrouded in perpetual twilight, thanks to overgrown hedges and perpetually drawn curtains. As a teenager, the house became a forbidden zone, a source of whispered rumors and nervous dares. One summer night, curiosity gnawed at me. My friends and I decided to sneak a peek into their backyard, fueled by teenage bravado and a thirst for the unknown. The air hung thick with the scent of something metallic, and the silence was broken only by the rustle of unseen creatures in the overgrown foliage. As we crept closer, a low, guttural moan echoed from the house, sending shivers down our spines. We fled, hearts pounding, convinced the McDermotts harbored something sinister. Years later, I returned to the neighborhood, drawn by a strange magnetic pull. The McDermotts were gone, their house boarded up, the atmosphere heavier than ever. Driven by a morbid fascination, I bought the house, hoping to uncover its secrets. The renovations were slow, each creak of the floorboards and groan of the pipes sending chills down my spine. One night I discovered a hidden room in the basement, its air thick with dust and the metallic scent that had haunted me years ago. Inside, I found a collection of strange symbols carved into the walls, along with a weathered book filled with indecipherable script. As I delved deeper, the nightmares began. I dreamt of the McDermotts, their eyes glowing with an unnatural light, chanting in an unknown tongue. The metallic scent grew stronger, emanating from the basement. One night I woke to the sound of scratching at the walls, a low growl echoing in the darkness. Fear paralyzed me, but curiosity propelled me towards the source. Reaching the basement, I found the hidden room door ajar. A cold wind swept through, carrying the metallic stench and the chilling whisper of the McDermotts' chant. I stumbled inside, my flashlight beam illuminating a horrifying scene. The symbols on the walls pulsed with an eerie light, and in the center of the room, a swirling vortex crackled with malevolent energy. Terror choked me as I realized the truth. The McDermotts hadn't been hiding something. They were keeping something out, and now, with their absence, the barrier had weakened. Panic surged through me as a monstrous form began to emerge from the vortex, its eyes burning with the same unnatural light as the McDermotts. I fled, the creature's screams echoing behind me. I haven't returned to the house, but the nightmares continue. The metallic scent lingers in the air, a constant reminder of the horror I unleashed. Now I know the McDermotts weren't monsters. They were guardians, and I, in my foolish curiosity, have become the villain, the one who opened the door to something truly terrifying. The horror isn't just in the house, it's within me, the knowledge that I've brought unimaginable evil upon the world. And the worst part? I have no idea how to stop it. The old house next door had always been a mystery. Its windows were perpetually dark, and the overgrown garden seemed to swallow anyone who dared to venture too close. The neighbors whispered about strange sounds at night, footsteps, whispers, and eerie music that drifted through the air. One stormy evening, I found myself standing at the edge of that garden. The wind howled and rain pelted my face. Lightning illuminated the twisted branches of the ancient oak tree, casting eerie shadows on the ground. I hesitated, but curiosity pushed me forward. The front door creaked open as if inviting me in. I stepped over the threshold, and the air grew colder. The walls were adorned with faded wallpaper, and dust-covered furniture stood frozen in time. The silence was suffocating. As I climbed the creaky stairs, I heard a faint melody, a haunting piano tune that seemed to come from the very walls. The sound led me to a room at the end of the hallway. The door was ajar, and I pushed it open. Inside, an old woman sat at a grand piano. Her fingers danced across the keys, producing a melancholic melody that echoed through the house. Her eyes were hollow, and her skin clung to her bones. She didn't acknowledge my presence. "Who are you?" I whispered. She turned her head slowly, her eyes locking onto mine. "I am the keeper of memories," she rasped. "This house holds secrets, dark, ancient secrets." "What happened here?" I asked, my voice trembling. "Long ago," she began, A family lived here. They dabbled in forbidden rituals, seeking power beyond mortal comprehension. They made a pact with something malevolent, a creature that hungered for souls. I listened, my heart pounding. The old woman's fingers continued to play the mournful tune. Their neighbors vanished one by one, she continued. Their screams echoed through these walls. The family grew stronger, their eyes glowing with an otherworldly light, but the price was steep, their humanity. "Why are you still here?" I asked. "I was their maid," she said. "Bound to this house, unable to leave. When the family finally summoned the creature, it consumed them all. But I remained, a witness to their downfall." Outside, the storm intensified. The piano notes grew louder, more desperate. The walls seemed to close in on me. "You must leave," the old woman urged. "The creature steers. When the storm rages, it hungers for new souls." I stumbled backward, my mind racing. As I fled down the stairs, the piano's melody followed me. The front door slammed shut, and I burst out into the rain-soaked garden. The next morning, the house was gone. Only an empty lot remained. The old woman had vanished, but her haunting melody lingered in my mind. To this day, I wonder what secrets lie buried beneath the earth. The price paid for forbidden knowledge, the souls lost to the hungry creature next door. And sometimes, when the wind howls just right, I swear I can hear the piano playing, urging me to remember. But I keep my distance. Some mysteries are better left unsolved. The Millers always kept to themselves, lived in that ramshackle Victorian at the end of the street, overgrown with ivy and shrouded in perpetual twilight. I, Dave, never paid them much mind until the whispers started. Kids murmuring about strange lights in the attic, shadows flitting across the boarded windows, and the occasional blood-curdling shriek that pierced the night. One day, boredom gnawed at me. Curiosity, fueled by a dash of teenage bravado, nudged me towards their fence. The air hung heavy, thick with the scent of damp earth and something metallic, acrid. Peering through the overgrown vines, I saw Mrs. Miller, gaunt and skeletal, tending to a peculiar garden. Not flowers, but gnarled, twisted roots, pulsing with an unnatural bioluminescence. Panic clawed at me, but I couldn't tear my gaze away. Suddenly, a raspy voice rasped from behind. "Admiring the nightshade, dear?" Mr. Miller, his eyes like bottomless pits, loomed over me. Fear choked me, but I mumbled something about a lost frisbee. He chuckled, a dry, chilling sound. "Lost something else, haven't you? Curiosity, perhaps?" He ushered me inside, the house smelling of dust and decay. On the walls, grotesque paintings depicted scenes of sacrifice and rituals. In the center of the room, a pulsating mound of writhing flesh pulsed with a sickly green light. I screamed, but the sound died in my throat. Mr. Miller's grin widened. "You see, Dave," he rasped, "we gather things with potential." He gestured towards the mound. "And you, dear, have quite the potential." Terror propelled me forward. I shoved past him, bursting out the front door. The chase was relentless, his laughter echoing in the night. I stumbled, falling into an open grave. The stench of decay assaulted me, but it was preferable to his touch. He cackled, reaching down. Just then, a car screeched to a halt. My brother, alerted by my absence, had returned. The headlights blinded Mr. Miller, momentarily stalling him. I scrambled out, clawing my way up the damp earth. My brother grabbed my hand, pulling me into the car just as Mr. Miller lunged. We sped away, his enraged screams fading into the night. The next day, the police found the Millers gone, their house abandoned. The strange garden was gone too, replaced by a patch of weeds. But the memory of that night, the chilling truth about my odd neighbors, lingers. Sometimes late at night, I swear I hear their laughter, carried on the wind, a chilling reminder of the darkness that lurks just beyond the fence.